All right, welcome to another Friday night episode of Keto Rocks. You have the threesome, Jim Hobbs to my left, right, down, up. I have no clue where he shows up, but it's Brian Damaged Forsythe. And then to round us all out is the new addition to the family, Senior Dr. Steve-O. Welcome.
Welcome to everybody.
Happy St. Patty's Day week to everybody, by the way.
Yeah, we all got the memo, Jim.
Perfect. I know Brian just got it.
What people don't understand is we have production meetings on the fly as Jim is hitting the record button. So it's
and our guest shows up right when we need him, and here's the man, the myth, the supplier of crabs and green eggs and ham is Billy Willis from Delaware. And Eddie said Brian still got the green egg.
Ooh, it's gurgling. What's that mean? I hope it's not alive.
That's the velociraptor inside.
Hey, Billy, welcome to the show again. Billy can't hear us.
Billy, we can't hear Billy either.
I got him. Sorry, gentlemen.
Billy has the same technical staff that we do.
Yes.
Yes, he does.
My computer runs off of postage stamps.
Hey, you need to put some more dribbles in that wheel and tell him to run faster.
Absolutely.
Well, welcome,
hello,
Billy.
Thank you.
Good to have you back. And so, have you met Dr. Steve before?
I've seen Dr. Steve, but I have not met you. Nice to meet you, sir.
Pleasure to meet you, Billy. I look forward to crabs arriving at my front door.
Okay. Summer's coming.
So I figured I'd bring Billy on board because it is St. Patty's Day today as we record the show 2 days before Friday that it actually airs. And Billy actually was doing something which I've never seen anybody do. I don't know whether it's a recipe or not, but Billy was going to smoke a corned beef brisket. And so I spoke to Billy earlier today, and since Dr. Steve had never met Billy and wanted to meet the supplier of damages, eggs, and crabs, to meet the myth, I figured we'd bring Billy on so you can directly ask questions to him, Dr. Steve.
But Billy is no longer the myth. He is now the man behind the myth. We have pulled back the curtain and seen the man behind the wizard.
That's right.
It is. So Billy, tell us everybody what prompted you to do the corned beef smoker and how it turned out and what you may do differently next time around.
It started out, I'd never had pastrami. I always seen it in movies and everywhere else, but a bunch of friends, we took a foodie trip up to New York City and we went to Cat's Deli. And they're like notorious for their pastrami. And I've tried to get it at delis and everything around here, and it's just nothing comes close. So I got to looking on Google and everywhere, and basically it's a brisket and it's salted and it's brined, and that was the closest thing I could find to start with that. So it looks good, it tastes good. It's just a couple steps that I have to try next time that I think will get me closer. And actually, Jim gave me some ideas to try, and I hope his comes out, and maybe he can further the experiment.
Well, tell everybody how you prepared this one so people won't do that.
This one I just got a regular grocery store bagged. You know, it's not the cooked one. It's the raw corned beef brisket that you get every St. Patty's Day. They're everywhere. There's a tip part and there's a flat part. I use the flat, and I basically just soak it in some water overnight to get some of that salinity out of it. Then I dried it off and just rubbed it down with, I could just to get it damp, just so it wasn't wet and slimy. And 1 second here, I got something pop up. I apologize.
It's your wet and slimy parental control.
Yeah, it's
you got Dr. Steve's attention now.
Right. So then I just smoked paprika, garlic powder, onion powder. I rubbed it down with just plain everyday yellow mustard to help everything stick to it. And once all that seasoning stuck to it, I throw it in the smoker out there, 200 for like two and a half hours. I might have lost track. But then I wrapped it all up in aluminum with just a little bit of liquid in the bottom of it, trying to keep it steamed in there. And I let it go for another 4 hours, and it comes out looking really pretty, but it's still a little chewy. So I was trying to cut it on, real thin and shave it. But it was kind of tough. I'm not going to lie to you. And then I got some ideas, and then Jim gave me another idea. I hope his comes out to be closer to what I was looking for.
That's right, Dr. Steve. That's right. I had an idea. Do you hear that? I got a witness that says I had an idea.
We don't know if it's a good idea.
Like a good idea.
Yes.
Well, that's true.
See, my idea is to slather ketchup over the whole thing. But
No ketchup.
Oh man, he's addicted to the red stuff. That's the reality of it, Billy.
I grew up 2 sets of grandparents. One of them were from Pennsylvania. They had catsup, and the one from Delaware had ketchup. So it depends on whose house I was, is what I had to ask for.
But you asked for it every time. I appreciate that kind of moxie.
I had to. It wasn't always the best cooking back then.
So what are we going to do different next time, Billy? Just so they know what we and I discussed. So we don't leave them hanging.
We are going to try a sous vide. Cook it completely sous vide because it's not going to change the color of the texture. And then Jim said, then we rub it and season it and smoke it, and we should get that dark bark and the pink inside like a real pastrami.
So I want to get damaged, Brian. So Brian, what do you think about that idea?
Well, so what was wrong with it this last time? You say it was tough?
It was a little tough.
Did you
It was tender, but a little chewy.
Did you take the internal temperature?
I did.
So what was the final temperature?
It was about 150 when I wrapped it up, but I got sidetracked and it was almost 200 when I pulled it out.
See, I don't know anything about like a difference between regular brisket and corned beef.
Yeah, because regular brisket, you'd bring in the 203, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but you were trying to emulate the pastrami that you had at this New York City deli.
Yes.
What was the name of that deli again?
Katz, Katz.
Have you been there? Have you been there, Brian?
That's where I had the tongue.
Oh my gosh.
It's also where Harry met Sally, and she was rather enthused about eating.
Was that at Katz's? Oh man.
Yes. There's a sign that says when Harry met Sally right over top of where she sat.
It was almost like she had tongue that day too.
Was Brian bringing the tongue out? Brian is going to bring the tongue out.
Oh.
See it?
That looks like a
exactly
kidney.
the Rolling Stones, is it?
No, it's a tongue. That's the root. And that's
Yeah.
the tongue. It's actually not as big as I remembered it.
Now we know why Gene Simmons canceled the rest of the Kix concerts.
Well, that was a rather disturbing show and tell. Thank you, Brian. Gave me nightmares.
So Brian, have you decided how you're going to cook this thing? Because I don't know if I forward, we actually have a couple listeners who actually sent me recipes on how to cook the tongue from the last episode. So I don't know if I forward those on to you yet or not, but have you done your research to find out how you're going to finally cook it?
Yeah, when I first got it, I did a bunch of research, and saved it, but I haven't gone back to look at it again, so I can't remember. But I know one of them said you had to boil it or something until you can peel the skin. But I can't remember exactly how you do it. There's a process because you got to peel the taste buds off.
I think Dr. Steve needs to come over and accompany you on this one. I think he's the one that's got to do the peeling of the taste buds. And,
it's going to take a long time to get that image out of my head. Again, thank you, Brian.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So Billy, so today is St. Patty's Day. So what did you prepare for yourself and your family today?
Liver and onions.
That's good.
Hey, it's a great option. I know I love liver and onions, so that's fine. Brian, what you prepared today for on St. Patty's Day?
I didn't realize it was St. Patty's Day, so I just had a ribeye and a duck egg.
Okay. Dr. Steve, what did you and Mrs. Steve have?
I had 2 slices of American cheese and some pork rinds.
Pork rinds.
Now, I actually had corned beef and cabbage. I actually posted it just a few minutes ago, and I actually got a response from our friend Jeffrey Daugherty, who said that, that's not a traditional Irish meal. I said, but it's tradition for me. And have you ever tried it? Because it's delicious. And I love the fact that you can go into, and Brian probably can go into Kroger's up where you guys are, you too, Dr. Steve, because they pretty much give you the cabbage and the corned beef. They're giving it to you at half price. They're giving you the cabbage for 25 cents. They're giving the corned beef brisket for next to nothing, at least over 50% off on the regular price. So it's a great time to really stock up. And corned beef and cabbage it's a great combo. At least it's one of my favorites as well. But Billy, so is liver and onions.
And American cheese and pork rinds, huh?
And peanuts. Throw peanuts in there and chocolate. They're all good.
Says the guy that just wolfed down a candy bar. Yeah.
That's my I had a chocolate. Billy, just think, so we were waiting for you. I figure I might as well go ahead and have a piece of chocolate before you came on, because we was wondering. Brian was searching for your phone number to text you to tell you, are you okay? But you jumped on, and then we lost you the first time. I guess the gerbils weren't running fast enough to keep the internet going.
No, the German Shepherd was nudging the table and everything else.
That should have freaked out the gerbils. They would have run faster then, right?
Yeah.
You would have thought, yeah.
But
so Billy, so Billy, we'd love to hear the story of how you are poaching. I guess poaching when you go across your neighbor's property and grab whatever it's not yours, and then you just start mailing them off to people.
It's not really a neighbor. It's a lady down the road. It's about 10-15 minutes from here. But I was doing work for a friend of a friend that was the neighbor, and I'm up on her roof fixing her gutters, and I see these big gigantic birds through the trees, and I was like, "What are they?" And they're like, "Emus." I'm like, "Emus." So I went home and looked up emus and found out they have big eggs, and the meat is supposed to be good, and the oils are healthy for achy bones and everything. So I went over and made friends with her, and she's like, "Absolutely, I have eggs." So, and Brian's got an open mind about trying. He won't say anything is yucky until he absolutely tries it. And I thought that was admirable. So I said, you know what? I'm going to share this with my buddy Brian.
So let me ask you a question. Did you try one of the eggs first, or did you just go, I'm going to ship this off to Brian and let him be my test?
And if he dies, then I'll say no.
I got them both at the same time. But I sat here and wondered, how am I going to try this? Because I don't have a big griddle like he's got. So I was like, it's going to take up more than the frying pan. So I love Eggs Benedict, and I wanted to make a giant Eggs Benedict. I got close. It was more of a, I don't know how to say it. Is it bechamel? A cheese sauce? How do you say that? But I put a cheese sauce on top of it.
And how was it? How was the egg? Because Brian's still carrying his around like it's an award.
I probably. I'm trying to be serious.
You're on the wrong.
Don't be.
Dr. Steve's killing me. I can't look at him.
Wait, that's what all the women say too.
That's what Mrs. Steve says too.
So I said I want to poach this egg, and my wife has an instant pot, and I got to look and basically it needs low pressure and low temperatures. I didn't want to fry it, and I was watching how Brian makes his poached eggs, so it's like the closest I can get, but I probably should have went 12 minutes instead of 15, because my yolk, the yolk is a little bit yellow. It's not bright like a duck egg. So the yolk it was firm all the way through. The white is really soft. It does not get you couldn't cut it in half and make a deviled egg out of it. It's soft, but it's got a really nice velvety mouthfeel. It's creamy. The yolk is good. But I probably shouldn't have cooked mine as long as I did, because it's sort of, it turned it so pale yellow, it was hard to see the difference between the yolk and the white. So I probably should have went 12 minutes instead of 15 inside of the Instapot, the pressure cooker. I had it in a bowl sitting on top of the rack with about a half a cup of water underneath of it. So it never actually boiled. It more or less steamed it. So it looked exactly like a poached egg when it came out, but I think it was just a little too much on my time.
Now let me ask you this question, Billy. Did you walk home one of the emus back to your house? Because I don't know if you heard last week's episode. We would love to start making this into an industry of taking the eggs, sending them to Brian's house and let Brian autograph them and then putting them online and selling them for $34.99 on eBay, because Brian notified us that these eggs go for sale for, was it $29.99 at Whole Foods, Brian?
Yes, yeah. I did look that up. This lady usually sells hers for like 10, but helping favors here and there, you know. But even at $10, that's still a bargain compared to Whole Foods.
Yeah. Now, how much does an emu cost?
She didn't really give me exact figures because she was like
$10 if you get the egg.
He's got a point. We just got to get somebody to sit on it for a while.
Yeah.
Well, Brian, put that egg underneath of you. Maybe by the end of the show, we'll have an emu.
Even if not, it'll be a heck of a lot of fun to watch.
I was going to surprise it and just block out where it came from and just have it dropped off on his doorstep. But he would have saw Delaware up on the corner and probably pegged me right away. So
I think the next shipment, you've sent them crabs or soft shell crabs, you sent them eggs. I think you need, traditionally you need to send him a living, breathing emu to him.
Smokey rules that household. I don't know if I want to go there.
Yeah.
It's like a twisted 12 Days of Christmas kind of thing.
Dr. Steve's willing to go over there, put the chicken fencing around the rear backyard and all that. So Brian won't have to do anything to look out the window. So emu doesn't need to go in the house, and Smokey never goes outside of the house. So what do you think, Brian?
I don't know.
I think it'll be good.
There goes the neighborhood.
It might be tough to find an emu sitter once I start traveling again.
Yeah, I can see there's not an app for that. There's no pet sitter down there.
Now, Brian, you just opened up a can of worms, because last week's show, Dr. Steve pressured you into making your reservations for your travels for the Kix show. So you want to tell everybody what happened, that once you made your reservations through Southwest, what happened the next morning, what you woke up to?
Oh yeah, that after we got done taping last week, I jumped on the internet and I booked my flights, my car, and all that junk. The first thing in the morning, I wake up, I open my email, there's one from Sullivan Big, and I open it up and it says the shows have been postponed. But it's no big deal. It's Southwest, so.
Brian was like Babe Ruth calling the shot. He said, an hour after I book these, the show will be canceled. And I'll be darned, he was right. I shamed him into it.
Anytime I want to find out the news about the show, all I got to do is book my flights.
It's like washing your car and making it rain.
Yeah, exactly.
So Dr. Steve, tell about your week. Last week you were heading off to Atlanta, Georgia for the Music City Kings for a big game. So how did that turn out for you?
Do we really want everyone to be turning off their computer right now and moving on to another podcast, Jim? I know Brian is. Brian right now is checking out like Joe Rogan because he has something to do here.
Listen, Brian's reading his book. Brian's reading his book, Nothing But a Good Time, and he's sitting on his egg. So,
and not in a weird way. Yeah.
I'm sorry, buddy. I didn't mean to get that one started.
I hope the question isn't still on the table, Jim.
No, I'll take it off the table if you don't want to answer it.
It's private information.
Okay, all right.
It's personal, and it was a painful trip down to Atlanta this weekend. I don't want to tear the scab off that wound.
Okay. Did Mrs. Steve accompany you on that?
Yes, she did.
Trip?
Yes.
Now, does she help you set up? Is she like your roadie? Does she help you set up all the
She
equipment?
absolutely is. I bark orders and then she doesn't talk to me anymore. And it's just like being on the road with rock stars. No, she's the cameraman. So I'm the voice and I'm in your ears and she's in your eyes. And she's a
Gotcha.
little easier on the eyes than I am. So it works out.
So how does she like this gig that you got going on for the Music City Kings?
Oh, I thought you were going to say being on Keto Rocks, which has led to hours of argument between us. But the games she likes, yeah.
Is she a sports person? She likes sports?
She likes certain sports. Like we went to a baseball game last night and she would have rather been slamming her head in a car door than sitting there at a baseball game. Brian is nodding because he's actually taken that option over baseball games in the past. But she likes hockey and she likes basketball, and I like those too. So it works out.
That's awesome. Oh, that's awesome. Well, we'll move on because Brian is absolutely falling asleep over there. So we'll move on. Brian, how's that
Brian
egg?
is freshly showered today. Did you comment on his hair, Jim?
I didn't. He's a rock star. I'm not going to comment on his hair.
Don't hate him because he's beautiful.
Brian, what book did you hold up? What book were you holding up? Nothing but a good time. That's a pretty thick book. Is your book that thick? Is that a 17-pound book?
No, this is yeah, I like this thickness. Mine needs to be this thick.
Well,
I was waiting. I knew he was going to laugh.
Don't
Yeah,
quote
it's
him out
like-
of context, all right? We'll take that out in post. Don't worry about it.
This is 535 pages.
now, how many? And you got a lot of quotes in that book, right? So, if people want that book, how do they go out and get that book?
Probably on Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
it's on Amazon now. I got mine a few days early.
In all seriousness, I want to say congratulations, Brian. I see that the official announcement's been made about your signature guitar coming
Yes.
out, and I see that
Wow.
it's been received very well. And truthfully, it's well deserved. It's an honor that you should have your own guitar. In all seriousness, so great job.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Brian, just explain to everyone, what does that mean? Like, what is the process and how does that help you? How do people get the guitar? Like, what is the what is all that world about?
Well, my friend Jim Cara, who lives up there by Billy, he does custom guitars. He builds Gene Simmons basses.
I just had a conversation with him last night, completely unrelated. Sorry, you just blew my mind by saying Jim Cara. Like we were just talking last night. Wow. Go ahead. Take that out in post too, Jim.
So yeah, and he does Ace Frehley's guitars, and what's the guy, Brad Gillis from Night Ranger,
Yeah.
Lita
Peter
Ford.
Ford.
So I've been talking to him about it. Like he mentioned it a while ago, and then finally there was a point when I was in Maryland, and he goes, "Hey, you mind if you?" He knew I had my guitar with me, so he wanted to come down. He came down to my sister's house and took a bunch of pictures of it, and so anyway, the way it works is he takes like a reissue Telecaster that's like approximately around the same year as mine, a reissue of that year or so. So it looks the same. It'll be like the same color and everything. And then he does a relic job on it, which is where you put wear marks. And so he's going to copy all the wear marks on my guitar and make these like duplicates of my guitar. And we're going to swap out the pickups for the same pickups I have and all that stuff. So that's like the high-end model is the direct duplicate. And whoever buys that, what they do is they pre-order it, and then Jim does them one at a time as the orders come in, and then the person would schedule one of the Kix shows that he wants to pick the guitar up at. So they would show up at the Kix show. They get there early for sound check, and they get to come in and watch the sound check, and then I'd get the guitar out for them, and I'd play it through my stuff so they can hear what it sounds like. and then they get to watch the show. And then after the show, there's a special meet and greet I do with them, and I'll sign the guitar if they want it, and take photos and all that stuff. So it's a whole like package thing. And then beyond that, we also have a collector's guitar, which is just basically a generic Tele that I'll just sign it and then ship it to the person, and it's a little cheaper option, and that's just mostly for just hanging on the wall. Like the other one, the replica is actually playable, so somebody that wants one that sounds and plays like mine would get that one.
If I could interject, I have been over to Jim's shop. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Billy. I'm sorry.
I have been over to Jim's shop, and anybody that's considering doing one of these guitars, they're going to get a top notch. Brian's not going to put his name on something that's junk, and Jim's stuff it's real, it's reissued, it's top notch stuff. It's a pro player. They can go take it on the road. It's good stuff. I'm really impressed with it.
Yeah, Jim actually makes his own line of guitars too, so he's really good at it.
What's the do either one of you guys know the process of how long it takes for him to make a duplicate guitar of Damage's guitar?
I
don't know the exact time. No.
I'll find out though when he gets one and does it.
Now, Brian, is this the guitar that you hang up in your smokehouse and smoked it, or is that some of your other, or is that all your guitars?
I might have done that back in the old days, but I've refinished it since then, so it's not the smoked finish. But it's my main guitar, so.
And Jim did tell some people on there that, like his that Daphne blue one, he'll make a replica of almost any guitar Brian has. And I'm kind of thinking about that one myself.
Yeah, except that one is not. That's like the original one that I had for, like, say, the Body Talk video. That one's long gone. So this one that I have now is actually a Japanese reissue. It's like a mid '90s, but I guess if somebody wanted one, they could. But there's nothing real special about it, except for the color.
Well, you play it, so it is special.
Billy, how many guitars do you have? I know you're a guitar player too. So how many guitars do you have?
Oh, you had to go there.
I did. Show them off. If you got your baby, show them off. If you want to bring someone, go ahead.
God, don't get him and Brian talking about guitars, Jim. I'm gonna have to grab a newspaper.
Well, you and I'll text you. We'll talk about sports. We'll let them talk about guitars.
I'm 22. I'm picking up one tomorrow. But you had to ask that in front of my wife.
Brian, what? Don't tell her, right?
It's too late.
Now, Brian, you have a guitar that. Now, Brian, you have a guitar that was passed down to you from your grandfather.
Yeah. Normally,
what year is that? Because I know that's.
Oh, it's a 1937 Gibson acoustic.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's usually sitting right there. I could have grabbed it, but I put it down in the basement in case a tornado came. I didn't want it to get ruined.
Brian's put. Now, here's a question: have you put your pictures?
That guitar goes with me when I hide down there. So
there you go.
Nice.
It's Smokey first. It's Smokey first, and then that guitar.
Well, the guitar's in one hand, Smokey's in the other.
Gotcha.
My phone's in my pocket.
Is that the guitar you played at the beginning of your cooking show, Brian?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's the one I played on For Shame too.
Nice. Excellent.
So Dr. Steve, do you have any musical talents? Because I don't. I'm just going to ask you, do you have any?
No. I'm more of an aficionado.
So Billy, are you're gonna order one order one of Brian Damage's guitars? He's already got one.
Maybe.
Is the missus within earshot? You can't say whether or not you're gonna get one or not. Okay, I got you.
Ixnay on the etarge.
That reminds me, I think 7 years has passed, so I can tell this story. I actually was I was the head coach for a high school crew team for many years, and I also had supported the Navy or Space and Naval Warfare Systems Command. And I remember my client, and I won't mention the name of this client, but I remember this client came to me. He wanted this ultimate set of golf clubs. And of course, I get paid to do whatever he asks me to do. So he says, hey, listen, I got to go buy out this ultimate set of golf clubs, but I cannot let my wife know that I bought this set of golf clubs. So I need you to make up some raffle tickets for your crew team. And then call me on Sunday to let me know that I'm the winner of the second place prize of these golf clubs.
Wow, that's an elaborate.
So
That's freaking
it
brilliant.
was an elaborate.
That's genius.
So I called, and sure, of course, and he texts me and says, hey, call her at this time here. I'm going to be out of the house, so she'll know. So I called, and she answered, and I flat out say, hey, well, I won't even mention his first name, but she said, oh, he's not here, Jim. And I said, oh, that's too bad. I said, well, he's going to be happy about this. Have him give me a call. He actually bought one of our tickets to support our program, and he actually won second place, which is, a full set of, Jack Nicklaus golf clubs. And she's like, oh my gosh, he's going to be thrilled. So then on Monday, he shows up with the golf clubs at his house. And so, yeah, this should be Jim's confession hour. I think last week I confessed about eating well done prime rib. Today, I'm confessing that I had to lie about a client that I supported about golf clubs. Who knows where I'll come clean next week.
Jim, not only did you lie, but you fabricated an entire backstory to this to hand to his wife. Like, you embraced the lie, Jim. I so appreciate your level of commitment.
That's genius.
Yeah, it was worth $150,000 contract. And so the following year. So I think it was a good trade. 7 years has gone by. I don't think anything can happen now. I hope not. If not, I'll be, and unfortunately my attorney's passed away. So I have another really great attorney. So I'm good.
So a lie has the same rules as like a bankruptcy?
Yes.
Isn't that like 7 years or something?
It has to be forgiven after 7 years, Brian. No matter what happens, it's forgiven.
Jim, the law is much more forgiving than a wife. That's the part you're not factoring in.
I have not spoken to this individual, and I'll tell you when, since 9/11. 9/11 is when I was supposed to meet this individual for a meeting. Wow. So in 9/11, I was crossing the Woodrow Wilson Bridge when the plane hit the Pentagon, or So we were there when that plane hit the Pentagon on 9/11, heading to meet him at a naval facility. So, yes.
Well, that took the air out of the room.
Yes, it did. I'm sorry. Sorry, everybody. We'll go back to some fun stuff. Well, I'll go back to some fun stuff. Brian, so what kick shows do we have coming up? Upcoming kick shows. What's the next one that you think you guys will really be able to play?
Supposedly, well, we have that Frederick Drive-In one in April.
Is that May something? May 7th, May 5th?
Yeah, the ones that we were supposed to do got postponed. So yeah, and if there's anything else, any more stragglers, they'll probably get postponed. But I think that one's the most solid date, because we already did it in November, so they'll have us do it again.
What's the likelihood of Rocky Gap? Because that's what I'm very interested in showing up for.
Oh, I don't know.
That's in June, I believe.
Yeah, that's outdoor, so that there's a possibility that'll work. But we never know. I can't make plans.
Brian,
I know.
Book your tickets, man. I'm telling you, this one can't possibly go wrong.
Well, you know what?
Last week.
You know what did it too? After you said that, I looked up the flights again, and they had gone up $10, and I'm like, uh-oh. I better get them now.
I'm a bad influence.
It's funny. I called what I call you. I think I called Brian over the weekend because I got the notification, because I have tickets for that show, and I got the notification that the show has been pushed back till I think July 30th of 2021 now, at the Beacon. And so I called Brian and left him a message. I said, I hope you didn't fall prey to the pressure Dr. Steve was putting on you. And Brian called me or texted me back and said, yeah, I bought my tickets Wednesday night. And then Thursday morning, Sullivan messaged me and said, all shows are canceled. So, but we're not going to put that on you, Steve. We're not going to put that on you. We're putting that on the pandemic.
Yes, I get blamed for a lot of things that the pandemic has caused, Jim. So I got big shoulders. I'll take it. I mean, I might have marginally been involved in this one with some shaming and some calling out and some pressure, but I do believe it was the pandemic.
Well, we do have, let's don't forget that Brian does have that doorbell that actually records everything. We do have a picture of you going back and forth the street with holding a sign saying, buy those tickets, buy those tickets. But we're not gonna roll that. We're not gonna show that part of the
Am I wearing pants?
Ooh, that's a great question. It was kind of blurry.
Well, I'm so fast, it is kind of a blur, Jim. I mean, come on.
Billy, you doing okay over there?
I'm just feeling the energy.
Not necessarily in a good way, but I understand.
So
I like that. Go ahead, Brian. No, go ahead.
I forgot to mention, I made a Costco run yesterday.
Ooh, let's hear it.
Like Facebooked a picture from Costco too, I believe, the parking lot, right?
Yeah, they had horses. And I didn't have my phone out in time because they went right past me. Beautiful horses. But yeah, I got their rear ends as they were down the way.
Did you think I could eat that when you saw the horse's rear ends?
Nah, I never thought about eating a horse.
Yeah, I can't go there.
Especially if
Just
there's
saying.
a top sitting on top.
Well,
of it.
I'm just saying, if he decided to do that and cut it up, it would fit on the Traeger Ironwood.
Maybe.
What's
Good.
the nomenclature, Brian?
The Euro 3000.
885.
Thank you, Steve.
The Clydesdale model.
885.
The
The 885.
the king of Traegers.
Excuse me, officer, do you mind if you just walk that horse back to my property? I got a Traeger 885 ready to smoke this baby right here.
I got an emu I want you to.
Oh,
So Brian, when can we expect the tongue and emu egg video?
Oh, yeah, I haven't figured out what I want to do with that egg yet. I'm trying to decide whether to try to save the shell or not, because that'll determine the way that I cook it. I'll either scramble it or do it sunny side up. But it seems awful big to make sunny side up, so I'm not sure. But it'd be cool to see it.
It'll be
Now,
like
Billy,
Flintstone.
Huh?
Billy, did you cut your egg in half? Because Billy took a picture of yours. Your shell looked pretty split right down the middle. What did you use? A jigsaw?
no, I took the
What'd
back
you do?
of a carving knife, like a heavy knife, stainless steel knife, and just kept wrapping it in a straight line all the way about 1.5 inches down from the big end, I think I did. And once you get it cracked, you pull it, and there's a membrane inside that's really thick. So I sort of had to like wiggle back and forth, and then I poured it in a bowl. But there's a lot of egg white in that thing. It's more than I thought there was going to be. Now, Brian, if you do the egg blowing out thing, you got to take a video of that part, because you put a hole in each end. And,
There are websites that'll pay you for that sucker, Brian.
Yeah, I'm still contemplating.
yeah, but like you said, there's people that would take that shell and glue all kinds of intricate beads and rhinestones and make an Easter ornament or a Christmas ornament out of them. There might be a market for a Kix egg. I don't know.
Does the egg keep
I'm
forever?
telling you, Brian, you may be something. I mean, Easter's right around the corner, Brian. I'm telling you, you can do your artwork on that egg and sell them. If they sell for $29.99 at Whole Foods, Brian, I mean, you got a supplier for $10 from Delaware. I mean, that's quite a markup.
Billy's going to take a taste, though. You've got to get a little bit for the VIG. You've got to factor that into your pricing structure.
How much you going to take off the top, Billy?
Well, I thought we talked about 5%. The other ones went to Steve's dog.
Did you see that comment, Steve? Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you need to go back and look at some of the Facebook posts. And for you guys online who are having no clue where we are right now,
That one.
welcome to the party. We have no clue. We have no clue either. But if you go to our Facebook page, you'll see what we're talking about.
It was
Brian
funny.
didn't get it either, so I'm not the only one that is not keeping track.
You got to follow all the social media because it's funny when you put it all together.
All right.
See, that's what we got, Billy. That's what we got, Billy. Billy's the glue that's going to keep this show together tonight. So, Billy, I thank you for.
Thank God we have one finally.
Oh no! Don't blame me. It's all Brian's fault. I just wanted a guitar lesson, and look what happened to me.
Yeah.
That'll teach you.
It's like Hotel California. You can
check out anytime.
You can check in, but you can't check out.
Yeah, he's stuck with me.
Brian's getting that creepy feeling.
Yeah, Brian's like, okay, I'm just gonna hang out with Smokey and just hit the delete button here. I'm done. Check out. But hey, Dr. Steve, so what do you got going on this weekend? Are you guys out? Are you doing any shows on the road?
We've got a home game Saturday, so I'm home, and there might be an away game Sunday. I'm not positive, but otherwise, just doing my thing, walking, eating my meat, and writing book number 4.
Yeah, congratulations! I saw you got somebody else, right? I saw a post by you that you got somebody else that you're gonna be writing a book for. Is that book 4? Or is that
That's book 4. I haven't lured anyone into my den for book 5 yet, but there's a few irons I have in the fire.
Gotcha. Brian, how is the manuscript coming along? I know it's right there beside you. How far along are we?
It's getting there.
Are you gonna if you have to go to the basement, are you gonna take the manuscript with you?
Good question, Jim. Thank you.
Oh, I never thought about that. Well, you can print me out another one if something should happen to it, right?
And then we start this whole thing from scratch?
Yeah, that's true. Maybe I should take
This has been an epic saga. Like the Hobbit series took less time to edit.
I do have a question. Dr. Steve, last week you said that this was the second half of the book. So is the first half done? Is that completed?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So the first half is done. So Brian's done his part for the first half.
Yes. Yes.
So we're down to the second half. And once the second half's done, and Brian's going to hold it up here right now. Brian's going to go get it.
I got to get it.
He's got to remember where he put it.
But as you can see, look, it's getting there.
Okay.
I mean, it's like
he's halfway through the second part. That's halfway.
That's a big chunk I did. But yeah, it's steadily working its way.
Brian just wanted to show you his guns when he turned sideways.
I saw that too. He was like,
he flexed a little bit, Billy. Yeah. Yeah.
Was he doing? Oh, let me get the book.
Yeah. I really get your book.
Well, it's a heavy book.
Yeah, we're probably gonna cut some out of the beginning, but we'll talk about that.
I'm curious, Dr. Steve, like these books that you're doing, like with Brian and the other clients, are there going to be like in-store book signings or anything of that nature?
I don't know that that's ever come up. You know how sociable Brian is, so I'm not sure that'll fly. Although Brian has quite a following that would love to show up for an in-store. Some of them will probably try to kidnap him and take them back to their homes, but that's really for Brian to deal with when it happens. One of the stars is pretty big, so I don't know that will happen. One of the stars isn't, so that may happen, but we'll see.
Well, my question, I don't really know how it works with self-publishing because, bookstores wouldn't have it. So, right?
Yeah, you have your shows as perfect opportunities because the audience is already there and will probably pony up a few bucks for an audience with His Majesty. Well, I'm talking about Whiteman, but you could be there too with your books.
Yeah, this guy's going to start getting annoyed. I'm going to have meet and greets with my guitars and my book. And Well, there's going to be all kinds of
No.
people hanging around.
Oh no, he turned
Steve, you
into a
may
diva.
I know we haven't talked about it, Billy. That's down the road. We have to get Brian through this process first.
well, here's the thing: bookstores may not carry your book, and I don't have no clue how the publishing works in that arena, but I would say that your following, Brian, comes from the music industry. So I would think that music store, especially in this day and age, would be open to carrying rock and roll stars and rock and roll autobiography books, and to bring people to their music store. You're going to draw a lot of people who are already into music, and so I think it'd be a big draw for music stores to be able to get people in their doors to buy your book, and also maybe pick up a guitar or some other musical instrument, or to take lessons. I mean, I think Rick would welcome you having a book signing at the Maryland Institute of Music.
Oh, well, yeah, something like that. Well, the other thing is, too, is because it's self-published, there's not any, like, physical copies. I mean,
Oh, but there can be.
Yeah, I guess there can be. But I have to figure that. I'll figure that out later.
We'll let you guys work.
We'll
Let you guys work that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, work it out and hug it out. That's my motto.
So, Brian, what food projects you got going on this week? What are you working on?
Well, I was thinking about that tongue, but I don't know. I'm not ready.
Don't quote him out of context on that one either, Jim.
I do have something else, though, that I bought at Costco, but I'm not sure what. I haven't looked it up yet to see what to do with it.
Oh,
And he's
check
off.
it out.
But it was a good price,
Yeah.
so I grabbed it. It's a. It's a
That's
big
just filet
tongue.
mignon.
No, it's a eye of round, whatever that is.
Is it beef?
Yeah. So maybe I must have Googled it while I was there because I wouldn't have bought it otherwise. But now I can't remember. So I might. It's still frozen though, so it won't be till this. Till
Brian
Friday.
washed
But we
his
won't-
hair today, so he's a little disheveled.
So he's put it in the refrigerator, let it thaw out. It'll be ready to cook or smoke in 2022.
Yeah.
That's about when the book will be done.
Well,
Yeah.
we actually got, we asked people to submit their guesses of when they think the book would be done, and we did receive some. And so normally I did receive some. Now I normally would just send them right off to Brian, but I go, wait a minute, I can't do that because Brian then can influence. So I did not send them to Brian. I'll send them to you, Steve.
Okay.
But I cannot send them to Brian because they would influence the outcome.
Well, now I can influence it also because I have to make the changes Brian suggests, and then
That's true. Well, I can't send it to you either. Then,
Yeah, no.
Billy, I'll send it to you.
And
Between Billy and I, Billy and
Okay.
I is going to know the guesses that people are making for when the book will be out.
he's on pins and needles, Jim. Yeah, possibly sitting on an emu egg.
Oh, they could have twins, him and Brian.
Now it's getting weird.
Well,
I'm sorry, Brian.
I could say a very easy. It's gone foul, but we won't go there.
Pardon the pun. Nice job.
Thank you. Nice recovery. All right. Hey, Billy. So, what are you working on? So, hey, no. In all seriousness, Billy, you got a lot to be thankful for, brother.
I do. I'm deeply blessed. It's been crazy for the last 48 hours. My daughter's water heater, of all things, set her house on fire, and right after dinner time, and it went fast. So I am blessed. Everybody got out. The dog got out, and the communities came together, and it's going to be okay.
That's awesome. Yeah, I saw your post, and you guys had the right attitude in the fact that everything else can be replaced and rebuilt, and the fact that everybody got out, including the dog. That's what's real important. And
yep.
So I'm glad to see that everybody's okay now. And you and I talked earlier, but when do they expect to be able to get the house, be able to move back in the house? How long is that process to get the house rebuilt?
So this afternoon they had a meeting, and right now they're in like a suite, 2-bedroom suite hotel. They're going to get them a townhouse or something where they can stay, but they've said it's estimated 6 months to a year.
Jeez.
Yeah. Now, 6 years ago, a tornado dropped 2 trees on our house. So they're just
Run an Indian burial ground. Jeez.
I was like, I'm getting bad vibes here, but she's just like, nope, we'll rebuild better. So other than that, it's been crazy. This has been an excellent comedy relief. I thank you 3 gentlemen a lot. This has been a good evening. I appreciate it.
Well, glad to have you, Billy. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right. Well, so Brian, when you figure out what you're going to do with that piece of meat that you don't know why you bought it, and when you're going to cook the tongue and the green egg, it'll make for some interesting cooking shows for sure.
Yeah.
Did you save your busted eggs, Billy? Just as a question I meant to ask you earlier. Did you save those busted emu eggs?
I was going to, but I had it sitting in a bowl, and my wife comes through and she just cleaned everything, and I haven't seen it since.
Be careful when you nap, Billy.
The emu egg. What'd you do with it? I threw it out shit away. Oh, she threw that shit away.
Along with your favorite pair of underpants, I'm sure.
Yeah, every chance she gets.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian, those autograph eggs, you could cut a little slice in there and stick one of your autograph guitar picks in there, and then just kind of super glue it up, and that'd be a great surprise when they bust open the egg. You know, your guitar pick falls out.
Yeah.
I thought you were going with underwear, Jim. Right after that whole conversation.
I braced myself.
Getting knocked off of YouTube.
Well, did you watch last week's show, Billy?
I did.
The whole sea urchin stuff that Brian won't eat, and how both of these guys over here described the sea urchin. Did you listen to last week's show?
I was right there with them. No, yeah. I was right there. The sea urchin stops. That's no.
Have you tried sea urchin, Billy?
No. Huh?
Have you you've never tried it?
Is it the little prickly thing?
Wow. When it's in sushi, it's just a mush.
Yeah, no, I've seen it. Yeah. Yeah. They use the pricklies for the decorations around the buffet, and they had the other mush in the middle. No. No.
I'd actually be willing to try it again the second time, just to see if I was mistaken the first time. Because
Brian, you said you had to force it down, but you did not tell everybody how it tasted. Did you even have any type of remembrance of what the taste was like?
No, that's why I'm saying I should go back and try it again. But it's one of those things where I wanted to look cool in front of everybody, and I just shoved it in my mouth, and it was like, oh no. And it was a full a mouthful, and I just swallowed it. And kept smiling, but it was like, oh, that was horrible. But it was more of a texture thing. That's what turned me off.
Okay.
This is like every bad date I've ever been on.
Bad texture.
Oh.
Jim, are we going to be here all night? What are you doing there, buddy? You got to get us out of here before it goes way off the rails.
Before it completely goes off the rails.
Before we hit bottom, jump off. All right, everybody. You guys have a great week. Brian, you want to sign us out of here? How do you want to leave it? I know you're not wearing your shirt, but go ahead and tell everybody what's important.
Eat your meat.
We'll see you guys next Friday, everybody. Hope you guys had a happy St. Patty's Day. Stay safe, stay well, stay out of the hospital.
Absolutely. Take care, guys.
It's just another day. The time is just a tick away. Don't you go and throw it away.
Full production facility in the truck. You got a full staff that's working to get this resolved right now.
There we go. Let's go ahead and get started so we get out of here. I hit the record button. Hold on a second.
This is a crack operation, man. I like it.